Episode 4 of Rumble Garanndoll pushes the pace with the introduction of a new main character, although there's a lot of padding too. Rin has been taken out of commission after last week, as her brain turned to mush due to passion burnout. So Hosamichi is gonna need another battery girl. The backup is Yuki Aoba, everyone's favorite idol, from the group Rabbit Foot. Rabbit Foot is an underground idol group, and all their members are actually in jail. Honestly, that was a pretty funny joke, and a clever way to explain why Yuki was the last one standing. Despite being chosen as a backup beforehand, Yuki actually doesn't know much about the resistance, but she goes along with it as long as it ups her popularity. After some back and forth with Hosamichi, the bad guys, of course, come to attack. Although just like last time, it's a general disobeying orders and Akatsuki never ordering the attack. Which is something I like since it reinforces the fact that he's still noble and not totally crazy evil. I mean, yeah, he took over Japan, censored the shit out of it, put tons of people in jail, wiped out cities, and probably killed a lot of people during the war. Okay, never mind, he's an asshole. But there's something to be said about never being the one to order the direct attacks in the past episodes. I mean, he doesn't stop his generals from disobeying, but at the same time, he knows when to retreat. It's like he's a nuanced, well-written character when you think about it. But wait, how's that possible? Digimon Ghost Game and Talked OP tell me that boring one-note characters are the way to go. Anyways, Yuki's debut as a battery girl goes as horrible as you can imagine. And the Shark 1 turns into the Rabbit 2, which is a hilarious mecha rabbit that looks like a mascot for an idol show. They get their asses kicked and Yuki gives up since her debut was shit, and she believes that she lost all her fans. And then the episode ends. Yuki is an interesting character despite the appearance of being an annoying cutesy idol. And I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of idols, and I don't understand idol culture. So of course, when you introduce a stereotypical idol character with an annoying voice, I start to cringe and brace myself for the worst. But Rumble Garanndoll surprises me again with an interesting take on this character. Yuki is just like Hosamichi. She wears a mask while on the job and has a different personality when backstage. She's actually a somewhat shrewd, serious bossy type who looks down on competing idols and doesn't hold her fans in high regard. At the same time, she does worry about mean comments about her. I know that this isn't a new concept for an idol character, but going the extra mile to add depth and nuance is always a good sign of a show that cares. It would have been so easy to make her a straight up cute idol character who acts like that 24/7. Just a poppy, bubbly idol fighting in a mech is a somewhat funny idea. Not particularly clever, but still funny for a few moments. And I feel like in any other show, that would be the direction they would go with Yuki. Compare this with Zagletu from Sakugan, the new main character they introduced last week. She's your typical money-loving thief, and they play it straight. There's no shock or twist with her character, and she's very bland as a result. But for Rumble Garanndoll, we get Yuki, who has more backstory and a somewhat complex personality, right in her debut episode, which instantly hooks you in and makes you want to see more of this character and learn about them. Whereas in Sakugan, despite being a good show, didn't do that with their new character. I didn't finish that episode excited to see this new character again, and in fact, I felt the opposite. What I'm trying to say is that Rumble Garanndoll has great writing and pacing. They know how to tell a story and introduce characters while also making them interesting right off the bat. I mean, it's kinda obvious where Yuki's character is going, but at the same time, this show is so clever and good in its writing that I'm almost expecting a swerve or different take. Who knows, maybe this won't turn to a love triangle and devolve into Macross melodrama. You don't know, and that's what makes this show great so far. It keeps you guessing if they're gonna play mech and anime tropes straight, or if it's gonna subvert them and do something funny or smart with it instead. With that said though, this week's episode is just okay. It does drag a bit, and while Yuki and the implication of her character is great, they don't take up much of the episode's runtime. We get a lot of padding in between the good scenes, and the bad guys attacking felt forced like in Super Sentai when the monster of the week always turned big, so they can have their usual mech fight. Like, of course the bad guys will always come to fight near the end of the episode. Anyways guys, that's about it. I'll see you next time. Oh yeah, and like, comment, sub, or don't. See ya!